Rest in peace, Ozzy. It is impossible to express with words alone the inspiration and influence and pure joy of just listening to music that this man and Black Sabbath have brought. In order to do that in a celebratory and reflective way, I'd like to enjoy with you and analyze a live performance of War Pigs from December 1970.
War Pigs, it's the number of our new LP. Hope you like it, thank you.
Major overtone there. Love it. This live performance, and really almost any live performance of War Pigs, I just love the simplicity and calculated sloppiness, and I don't mean that in any way as a negative. So many things that are present in the guitar feedback and the way the drums ebb and flow and groove, and they don't make music like this anymore. They don't make live performances like this anymore. So perfectly imperfect and raw and full of energy. Drums so hard.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning.
To put into context just how groundbreaking Ozzy's voice was at the time, you had Robert Plant, who delivered this intense, gritty, mixed voice howl way up there. But especially on the first several Led Zeppelin albums, there was very little to his voice. And then you had Ozzy come along and have some of that mixed, cried, nasal sort of thing in 1970. But then there was also this warmth and this somber brooding that came out in his voice.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. In the fields of bodies burning. Burning, and there's a little edge on it. Fields.
But that's not all it is.
Bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning.
And I love that line right there in this performance.
As the war machine keeps turning.
As the war machine keeps turning. As the war machine keeps turning. There's the broodiness.
Turning, as the war machine keeps turning.
And the thing is, due to my age, I actually discovered Chris Cornell before hearing this and was enamored with the way Cornell's voice did this very thing. And then when I started to look into Soundgarden's influences and go backward in time and hear Ozzy doing some of this stuff, it just blew my mind and freed me in terms of what voices were allowed to do.
Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction.
And he's also got those notes that are just so much more chesty and long. Sorcerer. Nice compression over the top of it.
Sorcerer of death's construction. Say, where are you go? To the war, these people know.
To the wall. If you were just to be locked in this posture, you'd be like, what? Especially if you're to talk like this. He gave us permission. Now, so much of this, he's not thinking about it at all. He's just singing. But when nerding out on it, it turns into inspiration and continues to turn into inspiration.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Yes. Sorry, we got to go back to that one in a minute. Let's go listen to that yelp.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, Lord, yeah. The war, these people know. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Oh, start there and then listen to his approach.
These people know. Oh,
Oh,
Lord,
yeah.
the war, these people know. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Do you hear how it's shaped? It's almost like if I were to draw a shape around the line, it's like this. Oh, open, nasal, compressed. Oh, right on the edge of chest mix. Because of this posture, this cry posture that I've talked about in lots of other videos, but then it's shaped like a beautiful figure.
People know. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah, not oh Lord, yeah, or oh Lord, yeah. There's shape to it. There's dynamic shape to it. All over his voice all the time. And I love the live performances that showcase this.
The war, these people know.
And yo, oh.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
In later performances, he's interacting a lot more with the audience and calling out to them and filling his performance with continuous interaction with the audience, which I love about some of the later performances. We don't get as much of that on this one, but we do get younger Ozzy in all his glory. And all of them. I mean, just the energy. Because of the vowels on this stanza here, he brings out that whined cry even more in lots of different performances and even in the studio. This is not politicians hide themselves away. Although he has aspects of that in there, it's far more placed back towards the soft palate, and then through his nose, and there's this brashness, but also a lightness that he can then add weight to in certain parts dynamically. Politicians hide them. Hear that? Them becomes weightier, chestier, dropped, longer, less nasal. Politicians hide themselves away. that journey that he takes you on. I'm telling you, he was the first one I heard after Cornell that showed me all this kind of possibility and how nuanced it could be. Whoa, whoa, not wah, wah, right? So many different characters. Yeah! I could stop it on every note and talk about I'm not going to torture you like that, but that's how fun this is to me. To like, okay, where on this meter? I'll put it in my voice. Figure it out. So inspirational. Can we just talk for just a second about the riffology of Black Sabbath? And just like Ozzy's voice set the stage for so many possibilities for the music that I really, really enjoy, their riffs, their simplicity, and their locomotive energy, the sludginess. I mean, you can totally hear how the 90s developed based off of this sound. I mean, there are other influences there, of course, but we have these single notes, this low, brooding, slower tempo. This allows for a tightness and a simultaneous sloppiness that just makes you go, It's not too perfect, but there's not so much going on that you can't move and slide and exercise that pocket a little bit more with the drums without it feeling messy. And I think a lot of modern acts could take lessons from going back to this sound. Less really is more. If you want it to groove and really connect and breathe, don't double so much. Don't make it about the riff and the groove and the soul of the catchiness. And Ozzy's melodies are the same way. They're so catchy because they're so simple. He just does a lot from a finesse standpoint. See that? Space for the drums to go awesome and there's still to be this catchy earworm riff that every guitar player plays. Isn't that bass movement? Oh my goodness. Another part of this sound is how, I mean, part of it's the bass movement, part of it is the intense energy coming off the drums, but a big part of it is how Tony tied rhythm and percussion into his solos, grounded in lower notes, grounded in the riff, even as he's proliferating on that riff. You notice all of them can diverge, and you still get this sense that they haven't left the groove at all, or even the riff too much. Yes. Now listen to how, though the melody is about the same, how different the character behind it is.
On the scene of beast appears, Taylor's falling at his knees. He sends out Europa.
So in the last one, and again, because of the vowels, because of the way that the stanza is written, we've sort of turned the shape over. So last time when he really opened up to that note, he was longer and down paranoid. Here, when he goes to that higher note, he's more open, more nasal, more masky.
Taylor's falling at his knees.
I love knees. The vibrato almost trails off into even though it's a low note, knees. There's an aspect of head voice that comes in, trails in towards the very end.
Taylor's falling at his knees.
Fall knees.
He sends out Europa. Cast the priest into the fire. Praise for all bad sinners.
I love that guitar line.
Praise for all bad sinners. Watch them eating dead rats in the say where you go.
Whoa!
Through black masses people go. Oh Lord, yeah.
I've always loved that implication of that third. It just does something to you. That minor sludge with the major third in there. This was firsts and bests in lots of ways. That groove. I should say those hits. This groove. And the way that the pocket is, there's nothing like this sound. There's so many people that try to be like it. There's been attempts, but these musicians, this tightness. And back when a guitar could be a voice, we went through a whole stage, I think, where guitar solos were almost abused, and they never really did that. Like, this guitar was a supporting vocalist, and in some cases a lead vocalist for big parts of the song. And it's because notes were free to be held out, and riffs And licks were oftentimes, you couldn't tell the difference. And solos and melodies were the same thing in a lot of ways. I hope you're listening to the bass with headphones because there's so much going on here. I remember, years and years and years ago, we were covering in some, school band that I had. We were covering War Pigs, and I was playing guitar, and there was this, bass player and drummer, and the groove. I mean, I'll blame myself just as much as everybody else, but they were just holding notes, whereas you hear so much movement, and you don't know that movement is missing until you try to play it and realize that you don't have anywhere close to the same energy behind you. So much of it is the movement of the bass and how it locks in with what the drums are doing. All over the place. You could be doing that, and that really screws up the simplicity of the guitar right here. It doesn't work. The parts have to be there. The energy has to be there. Yes, and even that last thank you very much. Listen to the placement of his voice. So different than the beginning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As opposed to where he started at the beginning when he was announcing the song. Thank you very much. This shows you how much of his vocal technique and approach comes from natural speech patterns and is borrowed from his just character as a person. And we can see this all over the place in interviews and everything. It's incredible. And this is a massive lesson for any vocalist. Get your speech level engagements way more engaging and full of character and spark and quirks. And then let those infiltrate your approach to singing. Don't look at singing as merely a group of notes or a melody to be sung or even rhythms. Look at it as expression brought over from who you are as a character and as a person and as a character. And then what kinds of inspirations you have out there that influence those characters. This, for me, Ozzy, Cornell, Chester Bennington, lots of those foundational vocalists for me sparked curiosity in me as a musician and as a fan and as an aspiring vocalist. So I just have to say, thank you, Ozzy. Thank you for being the artist, the expressive human that you were. You will continue to inspire generations, and you left a body of work that will live on forever.